Hello and welcome, I'm Niko and I'm going to be facing off against Cthulhu again. I got beaten by a tentacle fiend, unfortunately, so what have we got here? Random selection of investigators, and we've got Harvey Waters with his strong mind. He's a strong character because he's able to use his ability once per glyph conjure, not just once per day. That is a good character. Able to convert terrors to allure. Excellent. We've got Ashcan Pete with his guitar, and he's got Scrounge. Whenever Pete gains a common, unique or spell item, he may instead receive a clue, common or unique item or spell. That is good. It doesn't sound good, but it's surprisingly good because he ends up rolling in items. It's pretty good. Rex Murphy is quite frankly rubbish. I mean, what are the chances of succeeding in an investigation when another investigator is there? That means you already failed, and what do you get for that? A clue. It's pretty worthless. And Amanda Sharp, who looks like a rather sexy librarian, who is studious, which is appropriate. Amanda may complete any number of tasks on her turn, so for sequential challenges where you've got 1, 2, 3 or 4 in a sequence and they don't require that many glyphs, that can be amazingly strong. Surprisingly strong character, that. So let's go to a museum now. Just click through the introductory movie, which I've still yet to see. I must actually go back and just start a game for that purpose. Right. A break-in! A rash of mysterious break-ins have Arkham's authorities baffled. The latest incident has led you to the Arkham Museum. Collect 7 Elder Signs to discover the intent of the intruders. What is up with this museum? It's a terrible place, and we've got two midnight effects. That is unpleasant, and a +2 to Doom. We don't want that one out of my ball. Right, we've got a koi pond, which is quite dangerous. We've got a sequential one there, and we've got a fairly easy one. That one's got reduction to Doom. That one's deadly if you've got monsters out. +3 Doom if you've got monsters in play. So we can probably ignore that one for a little bit, but we certainly don't want it hanging around for any reason. Okay, right. Bit of a debate whether I use this particular character on this, but can't hurt. They are fairly simple, but I think we'll use our lantern glyph, keep that really strong Sword of Glory for later, and doesn't really help us, unfortunately. That's really annoying. Okay, what can we do here? Right, store the law, probably. That's probably the best I can do there. Okay, what have we got here? What am I talking about? Not a law, terror. Okay, we clear that one. Now what can we do? Not terribly much. More law. No skulls. What am I doing? Why can't I store that actually? Not quite sure what happened there. Okay, nasty effect. I can't do anything there. What am I doing? I can't do that. Okay. Let's put that over there. Why can't I store stuff? Can I only store stuff once with each character? I didn't think that mattered. Ouch. Okay, that was an unfortunate turn of events. Straight out the gate there. Okay, let's see if our psychic detective can do any better. Right, what are you going to do? Okay, that's pretty easy. Maybe go for a success. Actually get this one done. This would have been great for Amanda, the sexy librarian, to do. She could have potentially romped through that and done it in one go, but he didn't have any trouble with that. And we get a monster, and that's probably a really terrible idea, thinking about it, because, yeah, we've got a midnight effect which absolutely rocks when it gets monsters, and by rocks I mean it's terrible. That was a really bad idea, but let's clear this one off first. Let's see if we can get this one going. Right, okay, we've got skulls galore, but nothing. Yes, done. Okay, so we've lost our automatic one. We just use our scrounge ability to get an extra item. That's pretty cool. Okay, we've got rid of that midnight effect. Okay, Harvey Walters, you have to succeed here, otherwise we're going to get something terrible appearing. And you have your own portrait in the background there. Okay, let's use that book there. Nameless Cults. Oh, that looks quite promising, actually. We've got Word of Ra, which is an awesome spell. Let's just convert anything into anything else. Okay, we get a skull from that. A peril is there known. And there we go, that's done. Sweet. And done. And no midnight effects for us, but another monster, unfortunately. So we've got 2 monsters running around. Though that is no longer critical with that midnight effect taken out. And what do we get for our first midnight effect? +1 doom. Well, that's not too bad. We're level pegging with Cthulhu. Could have been a better first turn, but not too terrible either. Okay, right. Storage closet. Gee, is our character for doing sequential challenges. So let's send our sexy librarian into a storage closet. Right. What will she get up to there? The mind boggles. Okay. Is it worth clearing this one in this turn? Right, that paid off probably better than it had a right to. I should have stored that lore, really, thinking about the likelihood of things coming up. Okay, we get another midnight effect and another dimension. Okay. We've got our psychic detective on the scene who can fight off sleep for an elder sign. Right. Okay. The country of the ghouls. What was that? I didn't see. Something of the ghouls. Okay. Right. And that's dealt with. And I think we get another... We get the ability to open up another worldly portal. And that's done. In actual fact, our psychic detective is being surprisingly useful in this game so far. Okay, you've got an anti-monster ability, so you could clear one of these off. That's quite a nasty one, because if you use the anti-monster spells, you don't take the hit for removing these things, so he needn't take that sanity damage for clearing that. I think that's a Deep One hybrid there, with the Innsmouth look, as it was called in the novel. Right, okay, zap. Zap that one. Done. And no sanity damage. That was good. Store that free there, and with a wild card, we're well sorted for this one. And our fragments of knowledge are less fragmented. We have defragged evil a little bit. Or maybe we've defragged good, because if you defragged evil it would run quicker. Or at least find itself... Oh, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what I'm talking about there. Maybe not. Okay, right, another dimension. That's pretty good. Nasty damage if you fail, but then again, not too difficult and good reward. I think we will go for that. We've got a healing thing, so we can heal ourselves afterwards if we need to. That's done. Okay, Territor Law. His ability comes into play here, and easily dealt with, easily cleared. And he's got himself an anti-monster spell as well. Okay, right. Sexy librarian chick, and it's midnight. Doom and a monster. Right, not too bad so far. I did find in the last game that Cthulhu was a monster which gradually winds up on you and starts to attack your sanity. So it's not surprising that I'm yomping ahead at the moment. But it wouldn't hurt to knock him back a little bit, so we do this Elder Sign. See if we can get a little bit back on this. That'd be good. Okay, she can clear the next one as well with her ability. And for that matter, the one after that. Sweet. Nice and quick. We're up to 5 Elder Signs and Cthulhu's been knocked back to 1. That's awesome. Okay, right. Rex Murphy again. Psychic detective on the scene. Right, we've got crazed writings. We can heal ourselves as well, but we're not damaged at present, so that's not a problem. Let's spawn a gate, see if we get anything interesting out of that. That's pretty good as well. If we did that, that would knock Cthulhu all the way back to zip and push us up to 6 at that point. Okay, right, Plateau of Leng. What can we do with that? Not much. Not much at all, really. Let's completely change those. Do that one. Okay, what can we do with that? Use clue. Right, that probably wasn't smart playing at all. No, not at all. At least it's only a hit to stamina. Okay, right. Are you going to be able to scrounge up a victory here, Ashcan Pete? Right, okay, we can clear that one straight off using that wild card. Done, and that is by far the worst one. A 1 in 36 chance multiplied by 1 in 6 chance, so yes, quite nasty. Okay, right. We've got nearly what we need here. We've got a clue, yes we do. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's lucky. That's a 50-50 chance, really, when you come down to it. That's pushed Cthulhu all the way back to 0 on the line. And if we can get Harvey Walters to complete an adventure and get an Elder Sign, we can clear out of the museum without Cthulhu having anything on the board, which would be awesome. Right, okay. We pull out a knife. We've got Mr. Mutton Chops with his gigantic book wielding a knife in an evil library. Right, I'm sure that will work out well for everyone. Okay, his ability comes out again. He is definitely earning his keep. Those mutton chops are definitely performing well. They're just clipped through the movie. And here we are in the Pacific. Your journey has led you to the waters of the Pacific. Drop investigation glyphs on the Explore icon to unlock the secrets of the ocean. Seek out strange new relic rewards and islands full of evil creatures, and they will be key to your survival. Yes, indeed, or your destruction, even. Right. Well, she is pretty effed up, actually. Can she survive this one? No, she can't. That would kill her. Might be worthwhile getting her back to full health. She is actually quite a strong character, though she hasn't had too much luck in this game so far. Okay, right. You've got your healing stone if you really need it. Now, those octopus, or rather squid icons there, they indicate a special token you get on this game board, where you either get tons of investigation, tons of money, a really powerful set of uber spells which can clear all the monsters on the board off, or give you 3 of your green dice back after you've used them, various really cool effects like that. And of course, they're just generally useful because you also need to get it up in the top right hand corner there. You need 3 different types of gems which unlock red items, yellow items, and spells and abilities. So you need to get those gems, and the only way of getting those gems is to either buy or succeed in adventure for one of those icons there. Unfortunately, we've got one of those green locks knocking around at the moment, which is really sort of cramping our style a bit. Okay, not quite sure what we really want to do here. Okay. We've got some clues. Maybe it will... No. It's not worth it. Have to clear that green lock, otherwise we're just going to be shut down completely. Even with the clues, this is a bit of a tall order. We can hope though. Right, burn a clue. Hopefully I won't regret this. Alright. We've got a 1 in 3 chance, and that was good. That was lucky. I'm pleased about that. And use his scrounge ability. We get some extra stuff. So he starts to really come to the fore in these double adventures, because he starts to create this massive, great horde of stuff. It's like a dragon's horde, and you're just able to do so much with that character in the late game. He's very useful. Okay, right, Harvey Walters taking on some very bad men with knives. Right. Well, you did have a knife earlier. Maybe you're a bit of a kung fu master. Or maybe you're just sort of... Maybe you've got a badass sword cane. That would be more your style, I think, Mr. Harvey Walters. Sword cane, I think. Anyone with mutton chops that big has to have a sword cane. It's just de rigueur, as he would say. Right. Okay, nothing. Ha-ha! That's not so good. Right, okay. Ooh, that's not nice either. Okay, we've got some of these midnight effects we really need to get rid of. That is going to bleed us white eventually, and that is going to get us totally lost. Right, okay, do we do this one first? Probably... Okay, what can we do with that? Clear that one. Oh, that didn't help. Store that. Probably would have got a better probability if I'd used that a couple of turns back. I only used one in there. That's crazy. Oh yeah, of course I had to keep one back here. And that is very lucky. I got spells and abilities unlocked for the endgame there, which is quite good. Okay, right. Shall we get Raging Storm dealt with? Yeah, that might be a wise plan. Okay, yeah, losing random abilities. Or inventory items, I should say, yeah. Okay, right, do we heal him? It just doesn't have quite enough to heal himself fully, and it's annoying not to, but can at least get the stamina back. Okay. Ashcan Pete, with your gigantic... Yeah, in actual fact, we don't know whether that's a guitar. It could be giving the amount of 2-gun mojo and general gun-toting character portraits. Maybe it's actually full of machine gun, like Desperado. Yeah. Maybe Ashcan Pete isn't from Kentucky. Maybe it's from further south. Right. Okay. We can store one of those there, and store the Terror as well, for that matter. Okay, we've got that there. Right, we just need a bit of luck here, and oh no, we do not get it, and we burnt a whole load of stuff, but at least he can take the hit. Okay, Harvey Walters on the scene again. Now we've got a Raging Storm to deal with. He can take the hit, but it's not exactly the wisest choice for this one. But It's a very nasty effect. So, oh, that was really stupid. Now I have to win, or he's dead. Really, really dumb. Yeah. Burn everything. Just get it done. Oh, this isn't good. This really isn't good. Oh dear. I can't really blame commentary on this, but, well. Yep. Luck. Pure luck there, not skill. Right. Anyway, we get a bit of investigation, some currency out of that. And a midnight effect rolls round. Doom. Right, so Cthulhu is moving again. And we've got Sexy Librarian Chick. And we've got a fairly easy sequential adventure, which is ideal for her. She's got nothing in the way of abilities, so... Why do I keep calling them abilities? Items. Oh, that didn't help. No, that didn't work. Store the skull, though. Yeah, okay, we do that. And we do that one. And we're going to have to be outrageously lucky. We're not outrageously lucky. Shoot. Yes, unfortunately we didn't succeed there, but I don't suppose we really had any right to. That would have required quite some luck. Like a 1 in 18 chance of that coming off. Okay, right. That's not too difficult. Maybe you can tackle that. Oh, that's annoying. Right, at least I can store the skull. Oh, that's irritating. Okay. Not too bad at effect, but not very much in the way of luck coming around at the moment. Okay, you can take the hit there and it's for a good reward. Then again, clearing this out. I just want to get rid of this coastal cave. It's annoying me. I'm going to do it. Yeah, come on. Yeah, a little bit of luck. Give me a little bit of luck. There we go. Ooh. I'm going to have to be 1 in 6 lucky. I'm not 1 in 6 lucky. Sugar. Right, okay. Harvey Walters, massive mutton chops. Is he going to do something other than go to a coastal cave? Yeah. Our obscene statue. Well, he is an old man. Maybe he quite likes that style of art. Right, okay. Okay, Harvey Walters, with your badass sword cane and your filthy mind, what are you going to do? We're going to... Oh, actually, think about it. I thought we had a scroll for giving us more lore. That's annoying, I thought we did. Burn a clue instead. That didn't help me at all. Burn another one, I suppose. Wow, that's quite unlucky. Right. Yes, that's quite amazingly silly of me. Right. No. I've had very little luck at this point. Luckily I'm ahead of Cthulhu, otherwise I would be in trouble at this point. Okay, right. Midnight rolls around again. Doom and a monster. Not too good, not too terrible either. Okay. You've got like a convention building up at the coastal cave. Sounds rather like a bar, actually. We've got a place near here called the Smugglers, because there used to be an awful lot of pirate activity on the island of Guernsey. Indeed, some of my ancestors were pirates, which is why I use one of their identities as Pirate Niko. Because there was a Pirate Niko. Well, actually, he had letters of marque from both the English and the French. And, enough said about that, the better. But he did have a bad bad, and by that I mean ultimately cool, ship name, the Termagant, which if you've ever played Warhammer 40k, you know they're those little scuttling tyrannid things, but in proper English it means a kind of shrewish individual, a kind of terror to others, and a scourge to their flesh and all that. So, yeah. It's the sort of thing you'd find in a Shakespearean play, I believe. Okay. So we need a little bit of luck. Yeah, 1 in 6 luck. I'm not having too much 1 in 6 luck. Ooh, dear. You see, I was jinxed by talking about Warhammer and D6s in Warhammer. Yes, that can be very irritating. Right. Okay. Or maybe it was my ancestor Niko visiting a bit of bad luck on me for calling him a pirate, for he would have been insulted by that. Right, okay. Here we go. Things in the deep. Do you have an anti-monster spell? I didn't notice that effect. That is highly irritating. Because he had loads of currency. He could have bought one of those signs for 15. At least we can get rid of the monster without taking a hit. And we can clear that. So overall, at least it's a win. And we get an anti-monster spell back from it as well, which is rather handy because another monster spawns. Right. Amanda Sharp. What are we going to get? Each investigator loses a random item. Yeah, Cthulhu is a bit of an odd one, really. All kinds of different effects come out. You get a lot which are related to deep ones. Suffer not the deep one to live. Yes, purge the alien. To go back to 40k. Because as soon as we're out on the board, you can get all sorts of nasty effects like -1 to sanity for each team member for each deep one, or -1 to sanity, or you get doom cropping up. That's also very irritating. If you get several deep ones and it's +1 doom for each deep one, that can spell game over in just one hit. So getting rid of them is well worth it all the time. Right, do I clear that one? I have to burn a couple of glyphs to do that, including a red. Oh, I hope that wasn't a mistake. Just maybe. Yes, totally a mistake. Okay, we get doom out of that, but we did get rid of the deep one, which was quite useful, at least. Yeah, having them around on the board is a ticking time bomb with Cthulhu. You do not want him to have access to deep ones. He takes them and he will mess you up with them. It's just not a good situation to be in. Okay, right, we get that one cleared. Then we can clear that one. Yeah, that one. Oh, that is fairly lucky in actual fact. But at least that one's cleared. Okay, coming up on noon. Do we do that one? You get a great effect out of it. He hasn't got anything worthwhile, unfortunately, though. And there's a whole bunch of those things. I suppose you could go in... Oh, actually, you can't take the hits to your sanity, though. Do I do this and just kill a monster and then retreat? Might have to. Yep. Oh, I can't hang around in here, so... Can I do anything? No, absolutely not. Yeah, just accept failure at that point. There's no point carrying on. Okay, at least we get rid of a monster out of that. So what's the adventure like now? Quite a bit more achievable. I still want a red glyph out on the board. Okay, don't get anything there. We can only generate one lore out of harvest stuff. Do we burn a clue? Yeah, I don't suppose it can hurt. Sweet, we can clear that one off. By throwing away, less likely to get that one. I want to keep that spell for later. That wasn't wonderful. But at least we can clear this one. And all we need is a skull, and we've done. That's pretty good, actually. Knock Cthulhu back by 1, which was cool. Yep, that's another effect those squid icons can have, or Cthulhu icons, if you want to call them that. They kind of look more like an octopus to me, in actual fact. Okay. Yeah, you see, you do not want deep ones out. I'm very pleased, but I got rid of that last one. Okay. There's a few fairly easy adventures knocking around. Though, unfortunately, that one's got an entrance effect, which is not going to be nice. What do you get from that one? Not much. You could do some exploring or heal. Is it worth healing? Worth exploring? Do that, I suppose. Okay, you're also a bit banged up. Right. Fairly simple. Somewhat simpler in actual fact. Whole bunch of spells as a reward. Okay, right. Tablet of Relay. Okay, right. Right. And we store that so we ensure we win. Because otherwise we could actually auto-kill ourselves, and we needn't have done that, but we get some good stuff out of it. Worthwhile, ultimately. Okay, right. Smoke on the water. Sounds like a song. In actual fact, what is it? Terror, lose your inventory items, or a random one. That's not too bad. He hasn't got any anyway, so it's pretty irrelevant. He does have a ton of stamina, so I think I can probably risk him. It's not smoke on water, it's pirates. Right, start with. And what do we have here? Not much, but keep that 6 back. Oh, that's annoying. If only that had given me a 3, that would have been sweet. But really, that's the only way I could have won. Okay, Harvey Walters comes back to the fray. And my chair has started squeaking for some strange reason. As have one of my 120mm fans I've got. It suddenly started making this like weird screechy noise until I kick it a bit, which I'm a bit loath to do with my PC because I build my own and I take a little bit of pride in it. They usually work really, really well and they're super silent and stuff, and for some reason the batch of fans I bought last time, some Arctic cooling ones, are unusually terrible. They really are bad. For sound, they're great for cooling. My CPU is overclocked quite a bit. I use it for a lot of art software. I don't have a very good graphics card, unfortunately, at the moment, which, since I've picked up the latest Adobe for various bits and pieces for work, yeah, I've noticed it's like, you do not have a supported graphics card, and I'm like, oh dear, it's going to take like 1 billion years to compress. So, yeah, that's something I need to buy. Not a great graphics card, but maybe one of the last generation Nvidias or something like that. Anything which is supported by Adobe, really. But it makes a huge difference in its ability to process. I mean, like 10 times. I mean, a lot more if you buy one of those specialised ones for graphics design, but I want one which I can use for games. Thank you very much. And plus the fact for graphics design ones cost well, they cost a fortune, basically. I can't remember what exactly they cost, but it's a lot. But that's because they've got top quality, error-correcting super chips, which I didn't realise, but chips are actually not created equal, or rather they're created equally, but some of them are more equal than others, and they're skimmed off and used for higher quality components, like the laptops you see on the International Space Station, for example. They're using the Dell Professional ones, which have got a better class of chip in them, which is one reason why the chip costs like 750 for a chip which normally costs like 200 quid. It's just because we've got like better quality silicon in them. How this exactly relates to them having fewer errors and running better, I don't know. I'm not a computer scientist, but I did get an explanation out of one, so as to why these things cost unbelievable amounts of money. Can I do anything? No, I can't. Unfortunately, his ability can only make law, which is annoying, and that's a failure and a bit of doom. Irritating. Oh, talking about things which come as a surprise, I managed to get into the second tier of Mars 1. They pruned it down from 202,586, if memory serves correctly, and they've pruned it down to 1,058 candidates, so I'm quite pleased I made it that far. Of course, now I'm feeling slightly trepidatious and starting to worry about things which have never previously concerned me in my life before, like coronal mass ejections and, likelihood of dying of cancer. I suppose that should have worried me on Earth, after all. Like, most people do die of cancer. So, most people die on Earth. Indeed, everyone dies on Earth. Well, unless you're a true hardcore believer, in which case you believe that everyone but one person died. Or, actually, no. The Bible actually says Elijah was taken up into heaven, so yeah, that would technically be two people, one person on ice and one person risen from the dead, so yeah, unless you're a hardcore believer, you are going to think, well, I'm going to die on Earth anyway, so you might as well go to Mars, die 20 years earlier, but become immortal in human records and help the rest of humanity have a more upbeat vision of the future. Let's face it, what do you see on the news? A load of people blowing each other up, which isn't very inspiring. Well, it inspires terror, which is why they call them terrorists. Unpleasant, really. So I thought I'd have a bit of a punt on what is, at the moment, a crazy idea, but crazy ideas which turn out not to be crazy. I do support a number of other speculative things. I like the idea of Golden Spike, and I've even put a little bit of money into a publicly available telescope, which is available online. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I like space science and stuff. My background's in chemistry and biology. I used to work in a lab until it got moved to China, or rather the factory got moved to China, and then inevitably the lab got moved afterwards. Then I worked in finance for a little bit, found I didn't like finance, and now I'm training to be a teacher, a high school teacher. So, yeah, hopefully I can bring a bit of passion there. I've certainly got a ready-made lesson plan out of Mars 1, so that's probably a $40 well spent. So, considering lesson plans are actually quite difficult to put together sometimes, it's always good to have some material to sort of get people interested. After all, it's horrible when you've got, I've been observing a lot of teachers, and I've seen some amazing ones, and I've seen some ones which are less than amazing, shall we say. Yes. Well, the less said about that, the better, probably. Yeah, I don't want to make anyone paranoid. Most are great, admittedly, and some I think are tired, or maybe have found themselves in a role which they're either not suited to, or have moved away from over the years, shall we say. Let's be charitable about it. No one goes into that profession without a good heart. Some people go into it possibly without the right mix of skills to do it well, but the same can be said about everything. I was a terrible person at finance, not because I lacked the mathematical capability or the intelligence, but purely because I really loathe the job. The people I worked with were actually really good fun. And I certainly did more drinking and had more social activity out of that than working in a lab, after all. Though, yeah, that's not everything. I mean, you've got to like what you do during the day, and you've also got to feel morally comfortable with it as well. Yeah, I live in a tax haven currently. So, yes. Yes, but are a few things which are a wee bit shady going around, so, yeah, I certainly won't say anything about that either. Okay, there's one of those Uber spells. Sorry to natter on about stuff. That gives you 3 green glyphs back. That's pretty strong, though I have yet to be able to use it in an efficient way, though I'm hoping to keep it up my sleeve for when I tackle really. But you never know, if I get into a bind I might end up using it on something pitiful. Just to avoid my character being driven insane or something. Right, better get him healed up. Talking about being driven insane. Okay, Harvey Walters, how are you holding up? Yeah, you're not too bad a shape, but yeah, sanity's your strong asset, so yeah, let's get you back up again. And midnight swings round because we've all been in the hospital, or maybe on the couch as we were healing sanity. Okay, right, hot librarian chick. Shall we take her to the altar of madness? That sounds slightly pervy, but never mind. Okay, right, what have we got around here? None of these are particularly nice. Yeah, then again, if you get ones which are fairly easy, you might be able to, like, just barnstorm across the entire game board with her, though not this time around. But that's fine, it works. I didn't get any unpleasant effects from that. Do get a monster, but get some good items and a bit of currency out of it. Clear that terror effect. Okay. What next? Okay, we've got Uber Fishman. Okay, we've got some clues and some storage. We've got a good chance of pulling this one off. Okay, hopefully we don't end up burning that like a super spell for like no good reason. Okay, what can we do here? Probably a clue is the way to go. Okay, yep, we can get rid of the fishman. That is worthwhile in and of itself. Do we use that spell? I'm probably not going to succeed. And indecision moment. Let's spell lock that one, I think. Make sure we can at least get that one. Oh, that's a waste. Yeah. I mean, I did have a 50-50 chance of getting a numbered glyph off that, so that wasn't too crazy. Okay, we get some cool stuff out of that, and that's cleared. Okay, take Ashcan Pete. Right. What is that thing? I keep calling them evil midgets, which is really offensive, probably. But I'm not quite sure of the terminology, but they're what are they? Not tic-tac-toe, obviously, but chick-chack-cho or something like that. They're like very short, well, it kind of look like the grey aliens from... There used to be this really bizarre alternative history show on the cable I used to get when I was a student. It was like a reinterpretation of like American history over the last like 30 years, where you'd have like Kennedy assassination or like a chemical spill, and it was the answer to everything was like aliens. Aliens did it, and they had like these weird things which would like go into people's mouths and like parasitize their brains and make them kind of all homicidal and suicidal, you know, according to the needs of the hive. It was quite creepy. It reminded me of that Star Trek episode where the guy ends up kind of eating that like space cockroach, and it kind of like ends up like bulging around in his neck. And then I think they found it like all too disturbing for their demographic and like never like did anything about that again ever, which was a shame because it was quite an awesome storyline. not a big Star Trek fan, but I found that one pretty cool. But I'm quite into the whole kind of space parasite thing. I love Alien and all that, so yeah. I've been receiving like vast quantities of jokes and stuff on Facebook about my Mars One thing. You know, a lot of stuff about Hal and, you know, what you're going to do if one of your crew goes crazy. I like the fact that people assume that it's going to be someone else or someone other than me which goes crazy, which I should be flattered by, I suppose. But, yeah. It's never happened. I mean, there have been a few fistfights apparently on Russian space capsules, which they do kind of off camera and off mic. And that's a kind of way of solving interpersonal conflict, but that's kind of apocryphal and like no one really knows whether they did it or not. However, the idea of like badass Russians like lamping each other in space is just too awesome not to believe in. I mean, when you come down to it, that is just so much cooler than NASA. But actually, well, apart from like the big guys which landed on the moon, because that is pretty awesome, and the Mercury people, they were pretty awesome too. Indeed, all of them are pretty awesome, but fights in zero gravity is just like, I don't know, for some reason it's randomly cool. It's also something which you don't see in the movies, so you have to think about it in your imagination. Or at least you don't see accurately in the movies. You do see attempts to make it look right. It rarely is. After all, it'd be rather difficult. You'd probably end up having to grapple like some sort of like weird species of like Brazilian jiu-jitsu or something. Right. Shall we eat some food? Like take a snack, like while that thing looks like that thing which ate the fat man in Jurassic Park. Yeah. I would not play fetch with that particular one. I would not smoke my pipe either. I think I would pull out a shotgun and shoot it and reload and then shoot it some more and then possibly kick it over the side and then shoot it while it's bobbing in water as well, just for good measure. Okay, right, we get some swag out of that. That's cool. Right, and it's another green lock. I hate these things. They seem to be really common with Cthulhu. You get loads of green locks. You also get the occasional monster which comes out. It's the like hand demon thing, like the talking mouth which comes out of someone's hand. Or at least I assume it's talking, probably in Latin with a snake's tongue or something really disturbing like that. Okay, done. But I'll have to admit, I did just steal that idea totally from like Monster Hunter International. Right. With the Decision Week program, which resulted in someone growing a tongue out of their hand, which spoke in Latin. I think it was the janitor. That is an awesome book series. It's kind of Cthulhu light with like loads and loads of really accurate gunplay, because the guy who wrote it used to be like a firearms instructor. So it's like super accurate on that, which adds a different like spice to it, and it's pretty well written as well. But I mean, it's escapist fun. I mean, yeah, it's awesome for taking on holiday, but you know, you're not going to be stretched by the book. But you might find your suspension of disbelief needs to be stretched, but it's well put together. I'd recommend it if you like horror novels, but a little bit of action in them. Okay, right. Do some investigation. Let's see if we can find the city of R'lyeh before Cthulhu gets too busy. He's like more than halfway along his track now, so yeah, we need to get moving. And you're well set up now. You're also stinking rich, so let's have some more investigation. Okay, Ashcan Pete, what have you got? You're pretty near going insane, so you're cuckoo for Poker Boss. Yes, indeed. I've never actually seen that commercial. I've merely heard the expression cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I just use it like everyone knows what it means. But it's I picked it up from an American mate, and he told me it was like from some like commercial selling like a breakfast cereal. And I don't know, it's just such a good phrase that I kind of ended up repeating it like parrot fashion. I should really just look it up on YouTube and see what it's about. Okay, right, here we go. If only I'd had storage. Okay, I do have a clue though, so Not useful. I can store that, but... not useful either. Is this going to be one of these slow slide into failure ones? Yes, it is. That's annoying. Bang! Ouch. You're pretty messed up again. That's irritating after I went to the hassle of healing you. Okay, what do we get from Cthulhu? Stamina for each deep one. Thank goodness I have been keeping on top of the deep one issue. Okay, she's got some good stuff. Sailor's Doom. Get one of those good items. She's got the ability to romp along as well with sequential adventures. So yeah, she is the character for this. And put down a glyph. Yep, entrance effect, but it's not too bad. It just requires me spending a little bit to get around that. What can I do? Nothing, pretty much. But I can store that, so at least that final one's done. And I've got a good chance of getting 5. Yep, well, I've got 4 there and a 1 there, so do that. Move ahead 1. It didn't let me access those immediately for some reason, so maybe I haven't quite understood her ability correctly, but she's still doing pretty well, so I still would say she's a good character. However, this guy is not, but he's been just unnaturally lucky and therefore has somehow ended up with loads of equipment, which therefore makes him much more likely to succeed, despite the fact he is an awful character. Okay, Ashcan Pete, which should be laden with stuff, is completely skint and has nothing. Right, okay. Let's see if you can tackle the ominous temple. You didn't do so well in the last game, so hopefully you have more luck this time. Okay, right, what can we do with that? Well, we can clear that. We'd discard 1 anyway, so it doesn't look promising. No, failed. Well, it's a very minor hit to him, and he is up at least he's up at nearly full health. Now, you've got some money, and we could explore a bit. Yeah, let's do that. Once we've got Riley revealed, we've got all 3 gems, so we'll be able to spend just a little bit, well, maybe not as much time as I'd hoped in actual fact, preparing to take on Cthulhu on his own turf. Right. We've got 1 monster around there. And we do that, yeah. And really, well, does it rise from the deep? Hope that would be a failure state, really, wouldn't it? Yeah, I assume we just find where it is and then kind of go down in a bathysphere or something, yeah. This is definitely the era for sorry, I can't say bathysphere, yes. So, a diving bell, yes, that gets around that problem. Yes, a diving bell. Yes, you go down in maybe one of those like awesome suits with the grills and the gigantic brass helmets. That'd be awesome. Yes, drawing Elder Signs in a great big sort of iron lung abomination of science type gizmo. Yeah, that sounds like the sort of thing a supernatural investigator would do. Yes, indeed it would be that kind of thing. We should have used a glyph. I meant to, but never mind. We're just quite lucky there, so maybe we won't need to. Do I pull one out? Risk it. Probably silly. Well, not silly at all. Despite the fact I played that like a fool, I somehow succeeded. I don't know what it is about that character. He is arguably one of the worst ones in the deck, but he's somehow working this time round. And we've got a Midnight Infect. That can't... I don't think it can do anything now. I could probably leave it, but I don't want to forget where Rayleigh is, so... Yeah, let's grab the right glyph for a start, yeah. Okay, right, next one. I've got skulls galore. We need a lore. Damn it. No, we don't get one. That's annoying. Okay, Harvey Walters. Okay. Monsoon. Arrgh. to go back into my persona as Niko. Yes, indeed. Right, measureless to man. That looks double extra hard. That one looks pretty evil as well. Probably actually Midnight Effect is probably the easiest out of these. I'll give it a twirl. These help me not at all. Right. Well, this looks like I'm going to lose. Yeah, I can clear that one, but unless I'm like... No, it's impossible. No. And he is really messed up at this point. Okay, right. And midnight rolls around again. That was not a terribly successful round. Luckily it's deep ones again, because we've got them cleared out, so effectively nothing happens. We could use that blaster. But I'm kind of waiting until I've got like more than one monster. It seems like a bit of a waste just to zap them like that. Yeah, it'd be nice to actually get something out of this adventure for once. I just want to beat it. Okay, here we go. Right. Skull and lore, and that doesn't help me. I suppose we can store a 3 or 4 even. Then we've got like 3 dice to play with. Doesn't help me. No, not at all. Oh, come on. Give me a skull, please. Gah! I'm having some terrible luck with this game, and some really unusual luck with Rex Murphy. No, you'd instantly die. You've got some cool stuff, though. Oh, it's tempting. It's tempting. But probably insane to go for it. So that would kill you. Damn piranhas. Okay, right. So it's a whole bunch of, like, 1 in 36 chances. Well, that's on 2 dice after all, if you've got, like, the full suite of dice, which we will have. Does he have a yellow? He doesn't have a yellow, actually. I think we might need to actually do this, see if we can get something awesome out of it. Got 2 red glyphs, so use that. Ah, this is terrible. Okay, what have we got out of that? Well, I can at least get that one done. Then we've got... What have we got? Nothing that helps is the thing there. Oh no, that doesn't help either. Okay, that does help. That's fine. Though more expensive than we wanted. But not really all that worthwhile a reward. He's got a load of currency now, but quite what that's worth is another matter. Okay, Ashcan Pete, what are we going to do with you? Despite your scrounge ability, you are completely bankrupt. Okay, take a little punt on the Sailor's Doom. Deal with that. Yep, well that was worth Oh, he's got one of those Uber abilities where he doesn't, of course, get to use his scrounge ability because it was a like special squid icon. So it's, well, I suppose it's vaguely worthwhile doing. After all, that is a rather useful spell, Squeaky Chair. Everything is making noise around this place. It's like every time I sit down to make a video, it either starts hailing, or there's a once in 50-year storm, or my chair suddenly decides to run out of CO2 and therefore falls to the floor and kind of partly breaks itself. Yeah, it's an old office chair I picked up from work when we were getting rid of them, and it worked brilliantly until its CO2 ran out, and then it became like the most uncomfortable, squeaky abomination that you could possibly imagine sitting on while playing a computer game. You're undoubtedly sitting in a much more comfortable chair than me. For mine is falling to bits. It's undoubtedly planned obsolescence. They obviously don't want the chairs being used by the companies for too long, so they make them fall to bits. And unfortunately, Harvey Walters just went insane. Oh dear. I'm going to have to start moving really quickly, unfortunately. But I don't want you to die instantly. Do you have any way of improving your sanity? Yes. You can improve... Yeah, I'll do yours. Then you can be there for storage if you fail. No, with just one extra icon. Well, it would be one extra icon if I could remember to actually click on it. That's irritating. Like, really irritating. Okay. I've got, like, no chance of winning at this point. If I put that down, I theoretically could win, though the chances of it are very, very slim. Do I have any clues? No, I don't. Well, this is a colossal waste of time. Bang! -4 to sanity. Luckily you had 5. Oh, do I risk you? You are super rich and you've got a load of items. I think actually return you to sanity, then you can at least attempt Cthulhu without going bonkers. Right. You've got an awesome spell there. It's probably actually... I could risk you. You've got some storage on hand and you've got a wicked spell, so let's risk it. Lucky. That would be lucky if it was the next round. It ain't, so it ain't. Right. Okay, we've got storage on hand though, so we can store some oh, we should have stored a skull. Why didn't we store a skull? And why can't I play that spell? I should be able to play that spell. Okay. Play that spell. Yeah. Okay, that works. That's awesome. That's not awesome. That's not awesome. And I've lost. Oh dear, you're insane. Right, we are running out of coats we can tie behind our backs now. Right. Okay. Do I heal you? Or do I risk you? That would be completely bonkers to do that. But you can't do anything, so I mean, what can you do? I suppose do a, like, random adventure and hope to kind of build back up to strength before Cthulhu eats the world. Okay. No, ability doesn't seem to be working anywhere near the way I thought it was. Anyway, success. That's worthwhile. She might be able to come back in a bit and, oh no, a midnight effect. Ag! Ah! And straight away midnight. Because that always happens. Well, apart from all the other times when it didn't. And what? There's 2 of them? I didn't realise there were 2 of those. And now everyone is skint. Oh, that's pretty horrible. Why did it affect me twice? Or was that just like a display bug? Because I don't think I lost everything. Right. Okay, we clear that. And then a 3 and done. Okay, -1 doom. That gives us a tiny bit more breathing room. That's actually fairly useful. Okay, Amanda, what are you going to do? You've got... What have you got? You could... Yeah, you could... Well, you can repair your sanity and then get up in Cthulhu's face again. Right, what are you going to do? You've got a load of clues. which are... I think I'm changing my opinion on clues, actually, because I've found them to be much more useful than I initially thought. And when you think about it, if you've got like a selection of dice and you re-roll them, your chances of getting the one which you want are very much higher, much better in fact, in some ways, than having individual glyphs. So I was plain wrong about clues. They are awesome. Though of course there are always exceptions, and fortunately, what I'd really... I'm going to have to burn this, otherwise I risk losing it. Might as well be hung for a goose as for a gander. There we go, done. Well, that was arguably not that worth it, but now we've got red and yellow and a clue, which makes him arguably barely capable of doing, really. But do I do another adventure or two? If I'm lucky and get these done, I might be able to succeed, but really and truly, Cthulhu could just romp away easily, and I could easily, if I'm unlucky, just burn up all my abilities and not have her to support in the final stage, and that doesn't look very healthy. Right, okay, I can clear that one. No luck at all. Done. She's very nearly insane again. Yeah, she's wearing a hole in the psychiatrist's couch at the moment. And not in a sexy way, in the kind of screaming and twitching and needing heavy doses of lithium, wasn't it, they used to use back then? I think it was, actually. Right. Not quite sure how that worked exactly, but must have had some effect, because they did have the scientific method back then, although their drug trials were nowhere near as good as today. Though then again, there's been quite a lot of unfortunate corporate corruption which have lessened their efficacy, which is a bit of a pain in the world because everyone gets ill. I mean, screwing yourself over on that is pretty much the most stupid thing you could possibly imagine. Right, okay, I can use a wild card and get this one. Yeah. I mean, the chances of me getting a skull in the final one are quite low, but at least I'll get near it. Not that... Oh my word, luck. I don't know what was up with that character. He was terrible, but he really behaved like a complete star this game. Just all the luck was concentrated in him, or at least a fortuitous collection of random chance was in his favour. Well, whatever, I won. Excellent! Cthulhu. I played arguably a terrible game, but was lucky. Unlike previous game, which I played fairly well, and was unlucky. Okay, well, I hope you like the show, and you'll subscribe to us, or let us know if there's any way we could improve the show. So tell us in the comments below. Feedback is always welcome, so I hope you come again, and I'll be taking on more creatures from Elder Signs. Oh yeah, and Happy New Year!